Act, under EPA Act, and this EIA Act came in like in 2006. This notification, 1994 Act, and this notification is further modified in 2006, on which at present we are working. Basically, this EIA subject deals with to identify the various aspects of environment, including social and economics, and it study also predicts exactly the impacts on the early stage during planning or design. Even if the project is in the expansion, in case of expansion also, what would be it assess, and it anticipates what are the various impacts would be, whether it could be a positive, it could be a negative, but it assess in design stage as well as in planning stage, which makes very easy to reduce its adverse impact. Mainly we are more concerned for the adverse impact, which we have to put a lot of different control measures, and in worst case, even if there is adverse situation, there are some consequences which what we need to face in the upcoming future. In that case, there are some mitigation measures are being proposed, and through the EMP, Environmental Management Plan. And based on all these activities and management plan, we need to keep on monitoring. Basically, environmental clearance, EIA is for what? In 2006 notification, it needs for their environmental clearance. Whenever any project activity or mining, any development activity which attracts environmental clearance, there one has to go and do an EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment Studies. And there are schedule has been prescribed under which category A and B, under which again B1, B2, like A and B category projects have been categorized. Basically, what is the change has been occurred between these two notifications, like in 94 and 2006. It given very specifically categorized A, B, and B1 again, B1 and B2, and what are the which category project will be assessed where. Like A would be assessed at central level in Delhi, MOEF office, whereas B1 and B2 will be assessed at state level appraisal committees. It is, we call it as SIA or SCSC, and they define a TOR. When we apply for that in Form 1 and or Form 1A or in TFR feasibility reports, when we submit both these things to the environmental impact, the ESC body or SCSC, we get a TOR, which TOR is nothing but terms of reference based on which you need to do the studies. What are the various conditions or parameters you need to monitor? What are the various environments you need to consider while studying its impact assessment? And based on which you do the scoping, what would be the scope of study and what would be the area where this project has to deal with. This is the main difference. Whereas the public hearing was also put in place, which for which the number of days has been defined in 2006, whereas earlier it was not very precisely defined. In how many days the public hearing has to be conducted once the TOR is granted and baseline studies and data is generated. But in 2006 it is more precisely defined, and even next in upcoming to 2020 EIA, there is one more draft notification is under process to 2020, where this is more precisely defined and there are more relaxation has been given for the developmental activities for the projects. One may ask how this they define a category of the project. What is the how do they categorize? If there are some set criteria for category A and category B, if it attracts those category A, like there are known as general conditions, GC. GC here stands for general condition. Those fall in category A, whereas the which do not attract GC, general conditions, all those categories, all those projects falls in category B. And B category, where it has been assessed, that committee or that authority is known as State Level Environmental Impact Assessment Authority, SEIA, which grants environmental clearance under the MOEF again, right? Whereas its assessment or appraisal has been done by SEAC, State Environment Appraisal Committee, which recommends, and the SEIA based on the recommendation they grant or deny or modify the given recommendations for the environmental clearance. How do they do the screening? Recently, as we discussed, based on the area, the type of project, its activity, the its threshold of existing or carrying capacity of the waste or the area of the surrounding environment. All these different criteria makes it to define its category as well as and its screen it, whether it will fall in category B or in category A. Again, similarly, public consultation goes through. Once we got a TOR, we need to submit a application to the local state pollution control board, which conducts public hearing as per the given terms of reference and draft environmental impact assessment report submitted by the accredited consultant, which was again gone through the various other what I can say. There is another procedure to get an accreditation for environmental to get the NABID accreditation, that is from the Quality Council of India. Those consultants which are accredited for environmental clearance procedures, they and only they can go and defend the various environmental impact assessment projects to the SEAC, to the state level or central level. In case, what are the various conditions or rules which attracts EIA? If project is existing and if they are going for some expansion or modernization of the project, or even in case if they are going to change some product mix, for example, there is one piece of land is there, like one township, 100 acres township is there, and we are buying 1 acre of land or 0.1 acre of land even to the same project, for the same project, for installation of substation or XYZ adjacent to the same project area, that will fall under expansion. So in that case, the existing environmental clearance will be get amended or need to go for reassessment. Or for example, there is a 100 acres of township, and in that case we already received an environmental clearance with various amenities, various building height, all different parameters, various environmental conditions, and if we are going to change anything out of that, like if you are going to modernize FDP, like technologies keep on changing, we got an environmental clearance with an STP for based on some SAF technology, SAFF. But recently, like a client wants to upgrade it to MBBR or MBR. In that case, they might need to go for environmental clearance based on the recommendations of the SEAC or the appraisal committee. Or even if they are going to change a small product, for example, we got an environmental clearance for a building height for G+3, and we want to raise one more floor. We want to make it G+4 for in the existing building. Then also it might be considered as it might attract an environmental impact assessment. So we need to go for this procedure. All the projects for building projects, area development, township, all these falls in category B, and they all have been assessed at state level committee. And moti like all whole total, this requires minimum 90 days to 100 days for the complete this procedure. and for the presentation of the environmental clearance presentation. And after that, HCSC will submit its recommendation to the SEA, State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority, for the grant of environmental clearance, which might take maximum 30 days more. So around like 110, 120 days, you get B1 category projects clearances nowadays. If you have baseline ready-made, and in B1, B2 categories, in specifically in these building construction township projects, you don't need to submit complete EIA report. Only you one need to submit project feasibility report as well as form 1. And once we get the clearance, we need to submit, once we receive the clearance from the authority, we need to make continuously post project monitoring, and we need to submit half yearly and compliance report to the respective authorities, regional offices, state pollution control boards, and need to, based on that clearance, we need to get consent to establish, CTE, for establishing that building area, or we need to do some mining job, even small mining area like 1 hectare or 0.5 hectare also need to go for such kind of clearances. Mining includes various minerals, sand, mine, stones, pebbles, limestone, manganese, any major minerals. All this also attracts EC, environmental clearance, through the process of EIA, environmental impact studies. Basically, who needs these clearances? These are some list of projects which falls in category A based on their activity, like offshore, onshore oil and gas projects, nuclear power projects, soda ash industries, pesticide industry, petrochemical complexes, refineries. These are the various new national highways, more than 100 kilometers. Uh, if it is less than that, it doesn't need any EC. Only state level EMP has to be submitted. This is a recent notification. Otherwise, based on 2006 notification, it needs that also. These are some other projects which attracts in category B. CETP, CETP is there. Hazardous waste facility, municipal solid waste management facilities, township area, new state highways, and this is the schedule 1, where various projects has been enlisted based on their activity, and it clearly defines what is the criteria. It will go for clearance to the state level and central level. Central level means EAC, and state level we call it as SCSC. For example, in mining of minerals, less than 5 hectares, it was exempted. But nowadays there is a DI scheme. Recently, National Green Tribunal has asked to form district environmental impact assessment authority, which are going to assess this less than 5 hectare also. For example, all sand mining falls in most of them, and the clusters are fall in this category. Whereas more than 50 it in central, whereas less than 50 but more than 5 it is state level. Like these are various sectors. You can find it on internet very easily. Even building construction, more than 20,000 square meters, it was exempted, but more than 20, less than 1.5 square meter built up area, total built up area, then it falls in category B, and it has to be appraised at state level. This is a flow chart based on which we can assess the project will fall where. This is detailed flow chart. For example, project concept, once we conceptually the project is defined and we identified the site, the land, then we need to prepare a form 1. This is a specific flow chart or method for category A projects. We need to fill form 1, pre-feasibility report, which we need to submit for the grant of TOR, terms of reference, which is issued by MOEF, Central Level Environmental Appraisal Committee. and they scope based on the site visit and the details of the site what we show to the committee. They grant the TOR or they reject it based on the what are the details what we showcase to the EAC. And based on the TOR, we draw accredited environmental consultant and the team. They draft an EIA report and submit to the local pollution state pollution control board, based on which they conduct public consultation. And parallelly, when we submit this draft EI, when we got the TOR, it is published on MOF website. All the documents, clearances, data communicated with the client or the proponent from the MOF is all data is available on the nowadays online on the website to the for the easy access to the public domain. So client and the MOEF is nowadays completely transparent. Whatever the Form 1 and PFR submitted by the client to the MOEF is also accessible to the local, to the anyone in the public domain. Now, when this draft EI report is submitted to the for the public consultation, we go for public proceedings, and this public consultation has to be conducted under the chairmanship of district magistrate or equivalent ADM in presence of SPCB, State Pollution Control Board. And based on the recommendations, the submitted draft EI report has to be re-improvised or modified and prepare final EI report, which we need to submit to the MOEF EAC online again, and submit Form 2, based on which we get an again call from the MOEF and agenda is published, based on which we need to go and defend our case in EAC committee. And based on our inputs and our EIA report, we get the clearance or rejection. If we get the clearance, then we need to do the environmental clearance monitoring and compliance based on the given conditions in our environmental clearance certificate. And same is the case with the B category. Only it is treated at state level. But in B category also, we need to submit compliance report to the MOEF Delhi as well as to the regional office. In B category, there are two, B1 and B2. In B1 category, like sand mining, which are minor minerals or some area development projects more than 1.5 hectares, 1.5 square meter, 1.5 hectares multiplier. They do attract public hearing, whereas in B2 category, there is no EIA and public hearing as I told earlier. So the scoping is very easy in this case. One question may arise कि how do they assess ये B1 है या B2 है या A है? How do MOEFI design this? उन्होंने कैसे तय किया? So in that case, they taken two main parameters: magnitude of the effect, magnitude and the effect. Whether and the magnitude is maybe low or high, or effect will be local or global. And based on that, global in the sense of in Indian scenario, global means मैं project कर रहा हूँ गुड़गांव में. I am doing some project in Gurgaon, but its impact has been adverse, so adverse it can impact Delhi also. Recently, one must have heard one project, one case of National Green Tribunal, Ghaziabad Waste Management Facility. I think everyone must have heard, right? Where the big heap of waste has been collapsed on the highway, and some casualty also been, mortality also been recorded. कुछ लोग मर गए थे उसके अंदर दब के कचरे के ढेर में. So that project, though it is under that highway, falls in Delhi area, Delhi constituency, but the project is in NCR or in Gurgaon, which is in Gurgaon is in another state. So in that case, whether project is in one state, but it has an impact on other in adjacent surrounding states or on the complete country even. For example, there is a refinery in Mathura in 2002, and since 2002 and 2004, Mathura refinery was under operation. It was generating a lot of pollution. Mathura falls in UP, but again from UP there is one more, like Agra is there, Taj Mahal. It was impacting Taj Mahal, and it is starting black carboning. You can see, you can also get this some this case studies online. So प्लांट का रिफाइनरी एक तरफ लगा हुआ है, बट इट इज मेकिंग इम्पैक्ट ऑन द ताजमहल विच इज वेरी फार अवे. Even it was there are a lot of industries which are releasing wastewater near into the Yamuna, which was also impacting to the Taj Mahal due to the fugitive emissions. I understand you all understand the fugitive emissions. In case any of the terminologies what I am using now, if you don't understand, please note down and you can ask me in the end of the session. There are various validity of the ECs has been granted based on the project and the type of project. Maybe minimum 5 years and maximum 30 years. For example, for the mining lease, it gives 30 years or up to the validity of the mining lease granted by the DGM, Directorate of Geology and Mines. उनको जब तक माइनिंग लीज का परमिशन मिला होगा लाइफ ऑफ द माइन, तब तक उनको माइनिंग लीज का परमिशन बढ़ाते बढ़ाते उनको they can get the same validity of the EC. Basically, the EI report consists of these main chapters. You can see here, starting from the introduction, project description, alternative analysis. In that chapter, we need to do the alternative analysis of the technology, the selected land, the area. For example, I selected one area for mining or for the construction of small project, but it is going to impact that particular, going to damage particular very sensitive area. Sensitive receptors has to be considered. In that case, if there is some sensitive receptor, in that case they have to make some technology alternation, or they have to remove and take that project to some other alternative land, another location, to avoid that adverse impact. For example, a project is there. Everyone must have been heard about Sahara Ambi Valley Lake City. Is it everyone heard about that? Someone should have a project, right? It is in near to Pune. It is Ambe Valley. There is a small village, like almost 25-30 kilometers away from the Pune city, and where it is completely established. Just a minute. There is a small monument fort is there in the Ambe Valley Lake City, adjacent to that. So while doing this construction, an EI report addressed that adverse impact on the adjacent monument of fort, which was constructed by our previous some emperors, like in the era of Shivaji. So to assess by after assessment that a control measure was put in place to avoid that adverse impact by making ropeways, because there will be a road, access of the road will be get hindered during the construction of Ambe Lake City, as well as some blasting would be done for creation of this township. So in that case, some deep shock absorbers around the fort was put in place to absorb the shocks during the blasting of this construction of the township area. And based on that, we need to develop some, we need to go on site and collect the data, which falls in another chapter, description of the environment, where we describe various environments. Environment comprises of all 6 parameters, 6 environment. Whenever I say environment, one should think about 6 environment: air environment, water environment, soil or land environment, biological environment. Biological environment includes both flora and fauna, aquatic as well as terrestrial, and even aerial. Then socio-economy, right? And noise. All these components have to be taken into consideration while addressing the baseline studies. What is the condition, existing condition? And after studying those conditions, we need to anticipate by using various tools. Some software, some prediction software models are there. I think there was some session had been conducted in the previous last 1 or 2 days back, where various prediction models can be used for air prediction, how adverse and how long there will be impact would be there. Similarly, additional studies based on that, we need to address some mitigation measures also in the EI report, and we need to give environmental monitoring program, and sometimes we need to carry out some environmental additional studies. For example, if a project is very near to the area of eco-sensitive area, eco-sensitive means any like monuments, archaeological sites, temples, means very famous temple temple or religious place, any river, water bodies, any river water bodies which are not which are perennial, specifically perennial water bodies mainly, or natural water bodies even, some rivers, as well as some school, colleges, some government institutions, security and some defense installations. All these includes eco-sensitive area. Those things we need to, even wildlife sanctuaries, biodiversity areas, notified areas, or sometimes unnotified areas, reserve forest, protected forest. Those are the things have to be taken into consideration while doing additional studies. So we need to assess what would be the impact on those eco-sensitive areas in sanctuaries or such protected areas. We need to do biodiversity assessment specifically and prepare biodiversity conservation plan that will fall in additional study. Or in case if there is a mining project or in the chemical industry project, some synthetic organic chemicals, pesticide industries, in those cases, we need to do additional study for namely hazard operability, or we need to assess the risk by using various software. C is there, Hazard Pro Software 7 Manager. I think you must have heard. If it is a onshore offshore project, we need to use various offshore oil spill models are there, and we need to create oil spill contingency plan, which all these fall in additional studies. Then after doing all these studies, we need to address what are the project benefits once this project came into existence, and we need to do one more exercise. What would be the expenditure on environment we are going to do, that we have to address in cost environmental management plan by giving some specific cost and do cost benefit analysis. And based on all this, we need to conclude environmental impact assessment. We need to give some statement of environmental impact. कितना impact होगा, कहाँ तक होगा, how much it will be, what would be the periphery, extent of the impact, and its given control measures and mitigation measures. And we need to finally disclose the consultants' accreditation, the team, those who are involved in that study. So it is now more clear. Since 2011, 2011 से the NABED accreditation came into existence. It was earlier, but it becomes mandatory for everyone to take NABED accreditation, National Accreditation Board for Education and Teaching. So in that case, training. So in that case, NABED accredited consultants has to engage accredited consultants only. In those, one is environmental coordinator and some other are functional area experts. Just a minute. Hello. Yes. Madam, call me after 2 hours. I have a meeting. Hello. What are the things have to be covered in project description? I already described you, which all the things has to be done in the form 1. The study area will be the description of environment. We need to do the study all the baseline data has to be collected in 10-kilometer radial distance, where 5-kilometer area from the project site, from the center, first 5 kilometers is considered as impact area, core area, whereas another 5 kilometers is considered as buffer area. So it total becomes like 10 kilometers. And for eco-sensitive area, we need to consider 15 kilometers area surrounding to the project boundary. These various environment I have already described: land, water, air, biology, noise, socio-economy and health. In land environment, we need to give specifically what are the activities are going to involve in that and which are going to impact to the nearby area. And we also need to address what is the type of land use, existing land use. वहाँ पे अभी क्या क्या है, what are the things are there, and what is the how much vegetation is covered. Like you can see in the picture, green color is the vegetation, some pink color is like people, some sorry, red color it is showing like there are some habitation, human habitation, some construction is going on, and yellow color is like barren land is there. So like various this data analysis has to be done using satellite imagery, using remote RGIS or RGIS, remote sensing in RGIS. In like if I consider the case of mining, we need to consider various impacts of on water environment by understanding and taking care of how much water will be consumed, what would be the source of water, what we are going to consume. So what would be the impact on groundwater? If you consume groundwater, what would be the impact on groundwater? Similarly, in air, what would be, we are not going to consume air, but we are going to release, we are going to emit flue gases in the environment. For example, if it's the oil refinery or mining or even construction sites, we generate particulate matter, PM, 2.5 or 10, it's a size, or some noxious gases, like SOx, NOx, etc. In noise also, you can see whenever there is some activities going on, drilling, blasting, or construction activity, or there is some DG sites we are operating, all those generates various levels of noise. So that also need to monitor and address what is the at present condition. Whereas in biological environment, we need to collect the data using RGIS as well as on ground truthing. By collecting the data of flora and fauna, we need to consider what is the distribution of the particular species, whether it is a flora or fauna, what is the abundance, its rarity, diversity, critical habitat, what are the, if there is any critical habitat requirement. Most of the cases it happens in the case of endangered species. If there is some specific type of condition, if it is there, then only that particular species exists or survives, or otherwise it gets extinct. There are a lot of times we read like due to the decrease in jungle areas and this means shrinking of the jungle areas, the tiger population is also impacting a lot. Like the tiger capital of India is now called it as Nagpur, but due to the shrinking of the jungles by the doing lot of mining activities and some tourism and some ecological, some biodiversity parks they have developed, but all that going to impact the biology, local biology of that. We need to also assess in some cases migratory birds, their travel routes, because there are some migratory birds are coming, like in Bharatpur, in Rajasthan area, in different parts of the country. So sometimes rising a huge high-rise buildings, skyscrapers, it hinders the migration of the birds, which disturbs their migration routes. So that also disturbs the overall environment. For example, recently nowadays we are listening about one big problem of टिड्डी ने attack कर दिया, right? Those locusts are impacting a lot of huge area. Actually, locust is not a problem. Problem is उसके लिए जो natural control measures होना चाहिए था या होता है, like the birds, natural house sparrow, crow, and all those who are dependent on such kind of insects, which are feeding on those insects, their number are very less. compared to the number of population or the population what we are receiving from the Pakistan area. If those birds would be there, that problem will be there, but not in this large scale, which we can handle more easily. So those predator-prey balance cycle also need to address. The similarly things like that decreases the vultures, and if the vultures are decreased, you can better understand what will happen further. Similarly, we also consider human habitations and their economic activities. Sometimes some developmental activities hinder or give some adverse impact on the human economics also, as well as health. If there is a facility of common municipal solid waste management facility, treatment disposal facility is coming in city area, it is definitely going to impact human health as well as nearby other flora fauna also. So that also need to understand the subject. Though it is going to give us a lot of opportunity in the, it will generate a lot of jobs. At some means like ancillary businesses, some SMEs would be developed, but it is going on what cost? On health cost of the humans. So that also need to consider. So various environmental measures has to be taken care. For like land, we need to take care for while doing this such kind of any activity or project activity, we need to address whether the land what we are going to take for the project, is it been occupied by some people, or is it anyone is residing on that land? For example, in case of mining, mining needs huge land in like acres or hectares of land, 5 hectares, 10 hectares, 100 hectares, 200 hectares, 1000 hectares. So in that case, a village almost together, or in case of dam or irrigation projects, huge area has been constructed, and when there is a catchment area is been defined, lot of villages need to be resettled somewhere else. So in that case, rehabilitation and resettlement policy comes into existence. I need to consider all those people has to be taken care while doing this land environment studies, and their adverse impact is to be addressed in socio-economic chapter. And even while doing construction, we need to conserve a topsoil, because topsoil is very good for the compared to the bottom soil. Like topsoil, we consider up to like around 30-35 centimeters from the top, or you can say in maximum 1.5 meters from the top in best cases. And those soil has to be preserved from erosion and misuse or throwing in the somewhere else. So we can reuse that soil while doing green belt development, plantation, or some other low-lying area where we can fill it and reuse it for some other purpose. Whereas in mining, whatever the overburden, we excavate it out for extraction of the mineral. All those overburden or waste soil and rocks has to be refilled in that mine again, ताकि जब पूरा माइनिंग मिनरल निकाल लेते हैं हम लोग, वहाँ पे एक गड्ढा सा बड़ा सा pothole in acres of land is get generated, which accumulates lot of water. If that land is not, if it is not impermeable, if there is no stone beneath that area, then such kind of water may go down to the groundwater table. And if the mineral is leachable, like for example, if it's a mineral, if you consider ferrous or zinc, all those can leach out the toxic wastewater, becomes like leachate, considering having a huge heavy metals, and it goes and percolate into the groundwater, which contaminates it. And that groundwater is having a circulation around the nearby area, which may having a risk of, it's a potential risk to contaminate nearby environment, which also impacts human health as well as nearby those who are drawing water for the irrigation for any purpose, maybe for the farming or etc. Which due to which these heavy metals come into the cycle of biology in the food chain, and it may impact to us as well as other beings. So we need to consider those things also. While in water environment, we need to consider what is the groundwater level, and if you are going to extract water from the ground, we need to take permission from the Central Groundwater Board, CWB, which gives us NOC, and we need to install piezometers to keep continuously monitor what is the groundwater level. Is there any impact on groundwater, like in change of water level or quality and quantity both? I need to like make a trench to avoid any silting of that particular groundwater. It may be ponds, it may be river, or it may be dug wells. So during the rain runoff or any spill of huge water, all this silt goes into the water bodies and it becomes contaminated. So to avoid all that, we need to take care of those cases. While if you are establishing any factories or waste management facilities or refineries, in that case we are going to use various vehicles. So those vehicles will be has to be maintained, and while during that maintenance, all the wastewater, whatever it is been get generated, it has to be treated in through the appropriate treatment procedure in the ETPs and to be discharged as per the norms of the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB). And in whenever there is a project, definitely there would be a canteen or rest area. If there is a township we are building, then we need to install sewage treatment plant, STP. So we have to collect commonly all that township area wastewater, that is we generally call it as grey water. Those grey water has to be collected and treated in STP, sewage treatment plant, and reused in the nearby or given condition of the EC, or mostly we use it for the green belt development of the same township. Or sometimes if the water quality is very good, sometimes a environmental clearance committee may grant to recharge using that water, groundwater recharge. And for that we need to draw water balance diagram. And this water balance diagram and the overall water environment, we need to do compliance through water audit every year. I need to submit 6 monthly compliance report. Similarly for air, whenever there is it will also going to impact air environment, where whenever there is a traffic is there, for any movement, it is going to generate a lot of dust. So all those dust can be suppressed or can be mitigated using a paved surface areas, like जैसे गांव में बहुत बड़ा टाउनशिप एरिया कोई बन रहा है, तो we can make a पक्का roads, or instead we can put pavers which we can remove it later to change the road area. क्योंकि बहुत बार कंस्ट्रक्शन एरिया में ऐसा होता है कि हम लोग टाउनशिप में एक एंट्री पॉइंट बनाते हैं, बट अपना एंट्री और एग्जिट पॉइंट बहुत लास्ट में अपन अच्छे से बनाते हैं, पूरा पक्का बनाते हैं ताकि वो डैमेज ना हो जाए भाई. Because selling point of view, as a business point of view, the entry and exit should be very beautiful, and look wise also it should be look beautiful. So it should not be get messed or get completely soiled with the soil or other construction waste material. But in that case we can use paver blocks or make some like using 12 tons or 6 ton road rollers and make a road bit pakka to avoid dust emission. And we can also use treated recycled wastewater on sprinkling on the whole road where we are using. Similarly, whenever we are using such kind of activities, if we are going construction of the factory or expansion of the factory, so in that case vehicle has to be, there should be a wheel wash. और in case of hazardous waste management facility, जब भी गाड़ी बाहर से hazardous waste लेकर आएगी और डंप करेगी hazardous waste facility पे, उस साइट पे, तो जब वो बाहर जाएगी तो वहाँ का polluted dust जो होगा, जो वहाँ पड़ा होगा आसपास के पूरे प्रोजेक्ट एरिया में, it should not go out. To avoid that, it has to be cordoned by you putting the wheel wash facility in the entrance or exit. Regularly cleaning of the paved surface area has to be done by using mobile vacuum sweeper cleaning machines are there nowadays. Speed control meters can be installed to avoid speed, because mostly speed is the key reason, mainly a speed key reason which generates lot of dust. Otherwise, if you go with the speed limit like less than 20, 25, 30, it do not generate lot of dust. So it also even we need to consider wind speed and wind direction, and for that we can use various plantation techniques to avoid that dust and go outside the project premises. In noise, as I already told in the beginning, we need to put some noise absorbing while doing this. After doing a baseline study, we need to put mitigation measures in place to check what would be the impact and what are the noise levels. And based on that, we need to give noise shock absorbers, vibration shock absorbers, and some noise barriers. Like जैसे हम लोग अभी जाते हैं थिएटर में वगैरह, so we can see there are some noise barriers or noise absorbing some the tiles have been put it across the roof as well as nearby walls. आपने देखा है व्हाइट कलर का कुछ एक दानेदार एक विशेष प्रकार का मटेरियल होता है जो कि यूज किया होता है थिएटर के अंदर. Those are also used for avoiding noise which absorbs. In blasting, we put some vibration absorbers. Like mining के केस में बहुत बार होता है, तो we put all those things. This is the formula, empirical formula where we use what we use it. I already discussed this one. In biological environment, we need to do all after assessment biological biodiversity action and what are the biodiversity existing, what would be the conservation plan for them, and based on that conservation plan, we need to target each specific species. For example, Indian peafowl, more national अपना जो national bird है, it's a peacock. So that national bird is endangered species in as per our regulation, as well as in IUCN also. So in that case, we need to put in place conservation plan. Owl is there, tiger is there. There are different species have been defined in schedule. All schedule 1 species and 2 species, schedule 1 and 2 species has to be given conservation plan, which while during the environmental impact assessment report to the authority, central as well as state, based on which we get the clearance. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Mutlia sir. Yeah. Is there any disturbance?
There was a huge disturbance also, so I just get stumbled.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it fine now?
Right, now it's okay. Then we need to prepare an environmental monitoring program. We need to make a matrix कि हम लोग during construction and during operation हम लोग क्या क्या करेंगे. We'll see all this in example. For air quality, water quality, we need to make various environmental management plan and the program. We need to address project benefits in our report. We need to address and give and summarize what is the project, what are the various components will be there in the project, and what are the anticipated impacts along with the mitigation measures in place as per design in the design component as well in construction component. Even after that, if there is any adverse impact, what would be the control measures and mitigation measures are there, and based on this we need to submit environmental management plan. And also one thing here is missing is corporate environment responsibility, CER, which we need to nowadays submit to the ministry. Ministry always means Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change. जब भी मैं बोलूँ ministry means Ministry of Environment and Forest, Climate Change. So we need to submit CER budget, corporate environment responsibility. There is a notification which defines what are the things we can do, a proponent or client can do for the environment in terms of environment. For example, using renewable based energy utilization. For example, solar based LED street lights, and water conservation measures are there, using recycling of water, providing some RO ATMs to the nearby villages to avoid more mobility of the in the school, in the village panchayats. So it will give, it will also helping to the society as well as to the environment. So they have to put those things, and its percentage of corporate environment responsibility fund is defined based on the project. If it is a new project, it varies, and if it is an expansion project, it is called as brownfield. Then it again varies. Thank you. We will see in short a small presentation of the another presentation, which actually we need to submit to the ministry. Is it visible now? कुछ आवाज आ रहा है बैकग्राउंड में. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
The file is not open, so I can just see the list of documents. Yes. Yes, sir, it's visible now. It's visible now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir, perfect. It's visible.
I think is it full screen or I don't know.
We can see it, sir. You can proceed with that.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah. This is a real presentation for terms of reference. What I'm sharing now. This is for the basically this is B category project. This is a very tricky project. Like though it is a category B project, but we need to go for the environmental appraisal to the central committee because it falls in interstate boundary, right? क्योंकि ये लग रहा है एक तरफ और फॉर एग्जांपल ये बॉर्डर पे है किसी एक स्टेट के, तो इट हैज टू गो टू द इट हैज टू एड्रेस इन द स्टेट कमिटी. दिस इज द एक्रीडिटेशन सर्टिफिकेट वी नीड टू डिस्क्लोज in the disclosure of consultant. These are the various sectors. For example, this company which is doing this project, it has various sectors. Like there are 39 sectors are there enlisted by the MOEF in 2006 notification. So like this company has this 20 sectors. So ये 20 sectors में इसमें you can see there is a category has been defined in the end of this. Can you see? यहाँ पे CAT लिखा हुआ है. This.
Yes, sir.
So this category, based on this, they can present a case to the ministry. So it shows like what is the project detail, project का नाम क्या है, who is the applicant, this is the government body, like under which section we have to define the law or regulation where this project falls. इसमें कौन सा रूल लागू होगा वो भी आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. Whether the project is new or modern or expansion, you have to define that category. whether it is category A or B, that is also you have to define it. And what are the various project these facilities or project description, you can read out proposed processing facility. So processing facility में क्या क्या आ रहा है यहाँ पे, aerobic composting plant, RDF or sanitary landfill. But for the information, due to only sanitary landfill area SLF, this is we are going for environmental clearance, because 7I EI notification 2006, where common municipal solid waste management facility CMSWMF attracts whenever there is a SLF, we are going for construction, sanitary landfill जब बनाने वाले हैं हम लोग, तब ये रूल लागू होता है. बट स्टैंड अलोन प्रोसेसिंग फैसिलिटी, आई रिपीट, स्टैंड अलोन प्रोसेसिंग फैसिलिटी ऑफ एरोबिक कंपोस्टिंग और RDF, it do not need any environmental clearance from the MOEF CC. उसको कोई क्लियरेंस की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती है. ठीक है. So that is a new amendment notification is already there, but in basic clause in 2006 it was not very defined clearly. ये notifications और circulars और OM ये बार बार time to time regularly निकलते रहते हैं, which every consultant like this consultant and their coordinators and their expert team keep on monitoring. Then the location, where does it fall, what is the खसरा नंबर, उस जगह का खसरा नंबर क्या है, वहाँ जमाबंदी कौन सी लगती है, उसका डिटेल, उसका पेपर, you have to put that original paper, that document also been get verified by the ministry, वो जमीन सच में उसके नाम पे है क्या. And as a civil engineer one can understand, हमको we have to define it whether the given or selected land, given land or proposed location, is it that land and location for that land use it has been defined, notified or not. वो जो जमीन हमने सेलेक्ट की है वो उसके लिए काम के लिए है या किसी और काम के लिए है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हमने एक लेआउट डाला, वी प्रपोज वन लेआउट एंड देयर इज वन यूटिलिटी एरिया, वी हैव टू हमको छोड़ना पड़ता है यूटिलिटी एरिया. और कल समझो किसी क्लाइंट ने या बिल्डर ने उस यूटिलिटी एरिया पे बिल्डिंग बना दी, तो वो उस केस का उस लैंड को बिल्डिंग बनाने के लिए जब वो परमिशन लेने के लिए एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस के अथॉरिटी के पास जाएगा, तो दे विल चेक कि गिवन लैंड हैज बीन नोटिफाइड और प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फॉर द गिवन टास्क और नॉट. वो जिस काम के लिए प्रपोज किया है उसी के लिए है या किसी और काम के लिए है. अगर किसी और काम के लिए है, then the clearance committee will decline the proposal and they will defer the proposal to go for amendment for the land use. आपको जमाबंदी और खसरा चेंज करा के लाना पड़ता है, उसका लैंड यूज चेंज करा के लाना पड़ता है. सिमिलरली वी हैव टू डिफाइन कि वो जहाँ पे वो प्रोजेक्ट आ रहा है, वी हैव टू प्रोक्योर टोपो शीट which is easily available nowadays. It is sometimes it is also freely available on website. So वो टोपो शीट पे अपने को अपना प्रपोज्ड एरिया मार्क करना है और वी हैव टू डिफाइन फॉर द बेसलाइन स्टडी. आई विल शो इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. वी हैव टू शो नियरेस्ट टाउन कौन सा है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कौन सा है, तहसील कौन सा है, नेशनल हाईवे कौन सा आ रहा है. जैसे इसके केस में कानपुर पटना हाईवे आ रहा है. रेलवे लिंक कौन सी है, वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट कितनी है और वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट कितनी है, कहाँ से आने वाली है, व्हाट इज द पावर रिक्वायरमेंट और वो कहाँ से आने वाला है पानी, what is the manpower requirement. In manpower requirement as a socio-economic benefits we can show, and it is mandatory, we have to engage during construction as well as in operation phase most of the people from the local village or local proposed site only within 10 किलोमीटर एरिया के अंदर या उसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंदर के लोगों को आपको प्रेफरेंस देना है जॉब के लिए भी या एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए या इवन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स के लिए. Whereas also we need to understand the ecological sensitivity. Is there, if there is any? Yes. इस केस में कोडरमा में वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी एक आता है which is boundary as near to 3.58 kilometers. Because जो गैजेट नोटिफिकेशन है it says if any wildlife sanctuary is less than 5 kilometers में है तो उसको वाइल्ड लाइफ क्लियरेंस लेना पड़ेगा अलग से. That is another procedure. राइट. वो भी MOEF से ही होता है, बट दैट फॉर दैट यू हैव टू मेक बायोडाइवर्सिटी असेसमेंट, कंजर्वेशन प्लान रिपोर्ट एंड यू हैव टू सबमिट to the Ministry of Environment and Forest Clearance Department or Wildlife Clearance Department, where you get the wildlife clearance again. And we need to define what is the seismic zone where the project has been defined. The project is proposed like whatever here. उसमें हम लोग क्या क्या करने वाले हैं. So for example, in case of waste management, we are defined कितनी प्रोसेसिंग फैसिलिटी लगाएंगे 52 टन पर डे की. उसमें 52 टन पर डे में एरोबिक कंपोस्टिंग अपना 25 टीपीडी देगा. टीपीडी मीन्स टन पर डे. And RDF, refuse derived fuel, because nowadays as per new notification, you can use lot of inorganic and recyclable waste as RDF, like paper, plastic, some cardboards. Those you can use it for for the burning, and by using waste to energy plant. So you can burn and generate energy, and you can generate the power. This is how we show location map. This is the Google map.
I think it's still on the
Hello?
Sir, it is still on the document which you explained for terms of reference.
This one?
I can see only that document which you had explained.
Now?
Document.
Now?
Yeah, now it's fine.
This is the location map.
It's fine now, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. So this is the Google location. We have to manage, mark it on the Google image, जो कि हम लोग Google से online कोई भी देख सकता है. So you can see very clearly. I will just enlarge this much more. I think everyone must have used Google Pro Earth Pro, where we can see इस जगह पे कोई कितने पेड़ पौधे कितने हैं, कोई बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑलरेडी किया हुआ है क्या, any water body is there, or even we can put a circle around this and we can see what is the nearby area in 10-15 kilometers. In this case, like this 10-kilometer area, radial distance, you can see Koderma Wildlife Sanctuary is falling, right? And this Koderma Wildlife Sanctuary, you can see the green color line. आपको ग्रीन कलर लाइन दिख रही है? This one. Hello. Hello. Yeah. तो ये जो ग्रीन कलर लाइन है, दिस ग्रीन कलर लाइन इज नथिंग बट वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी का बाउंड्री है. दिस बाउंड्री कम्स इन 5 किलोमीटर रेडियल डिस्टेंस. यहाँ पे बहुत पतला सा रेड कलर का मार्क किया हुआ है, ये 5 किलोमीटर रेडियस, ये दिख रहा है. कैन यू सी दिस 5 किलोमीटर रेडियल डिस्टेंस? या दिस 5 किलोमीटर रेडियल डिस्टेंस में ग्रीन कलर का बाउंड्री आ रहा है. सो वी नीड टू डू द बायोडाइवर्सिटी असेसमेंट एंड इट्स कंजर्वेशन प्लान वी हैव टू सबमिट for wildlife clearance. This is a topo sheet what we were discussing. ये topo sheet easy level होता है, ये up to scale आप बना सकते हैं आपस से. Those who are from a civil engineering background, they must be very much aware. This topo sheet defines all the various common the legends are available services. इसमें water bodies कहाँ पर है, रोड कितने हैं, रास्ते कितने हैं, highways कहाँ पर है, everything has been defined in this, and it is all these topo sheets are defined and given by the government. So there will be no ambiguity कि you can make any means changes or alteration from your side. So these are readily available, and you can mark your project on this. And you have to make a boundary pillars through wetlands. If there is any reserve forest or protected forest, you have to give the distances कि कौन सा फॉरेस्ट कितनी दूरी पर है, कौन से डायरेक्शन में है. सिमिलरली वाटर बॉडीज आ रही है तो आपको ये भी दिखानी है उसके अंदर कि विच वाटर बॉडी इज इन विच डायरेक्शन एट हाउ मेनी व्हाट इज द डिस्टेंस. Because this drainage map, though it speaks lot of things, drainage map also defines water का flow कहाँ पर है. क्योंकि वाटर एनवायरनमेंट जो इम्पैक्ट स्टडी हम लोग करेंगे तो बरसात में पानी कहाँ से कहाँ फ्लो करेगा. अगर हमारा कोई प्रोजेक्ट एक्टिविटी है, कोई फॉर एग्जांपल ऑयल रिफाइनरी है या न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट है, उस केस में जब वाटर विल बी गेट डिस्चार्ज, कंटामिनेटेड वाटर इज गेट डिस्चार्ज और इन hazardous condition, if there is any damage in the ETP, STP, all those water will be get percolated and drained towards a particular direction wherever it is a lower inversion. जहाँ पे कम स्लोप होगा वहाँ पे उस तरफ वो बहना शुरू कर देगा, तो ज़्यादा स्लोप होगा वहाँ पे बहना शुरू कर देगा. एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन केस ऑफ लैंडफिल साइट ऑल्सो द सेम, बिकॉज लैंडफिल में हम लोग बहुत सारा कचरा, म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट, वैसी हजार्डस वेस्ट हम लोग जमीन में लैंडफिल के अंदर बना के अंदर दबाते हैं, कचरा डाल देते हैं गड्ढा बना के. तो लैंडफिल के अंदर व्हाट हैपन्स दैट मे माइट ऑल्सो परकुलेट लीचेट विच में कंटामिनेट द ग्राउंड वाटर. सो इन दैट केस वी हैव टू फुलफिल दिस क्राइटेरिया. रिवर शुड बी मोर देन 100 मीटर्स होना चाहिए. जो डिजाइन होगा पूरा उस म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट फैसिलिटी का, इट शुड बी मोर देन 20 ईयर्स, 15 to 20 ईयर्स. पॉन्ड का डिस्टेंस कितना होना चाहिए हाईवे का, पब्लिक हैबिटेशन, पब्लिक पार्क, वाटर सप्लाई, वाटर टेबल कितना नीचे होना चाहिए, अर्थक्वेक जोन मिनिमम कौन सा होना चाहिए उसमें. वैसे एयरपोर्ट कितना दूर होना चाहिए, क्रिटिकल हैबिटेट, सेंसिटिव इको फ्रेजाइल एरिया कोई है क्या, वो जो एरिया दिया है उसमें कोई वाइल्ड लाइफ एरिया है क्या, है तो 10 किलोमीटर में है तो वो कहाँ पर है भाई, कितने डिस्टेंस पे है. क्रिटिकली पोल्यूटेड एरिया, वेदर दैट selected land falls in critically polluted area or not by CPCB. CPCB has published one list of areas which are defined as critically polluted, shallow polluted, no pollution और रेड जोन, ग्रीन जोन, ऑरेंज जोन. जैसे कोरोना के लिए है वैसे ही इसके लिए भी डिफाइन किया हुआ है CPCB ने पहले से. Similarly, eco sensitivity areas are also notified. Either any interstate boundaries are there, and we need to put the photographs from all direction from the project boundary to showcase the what is the existing area, what is the existing structure or plant on the given selected site. This is the water balance diagram. What is the water consumption, what is the fresh water requirement, where and for what activity how much water would be required. The layout has to be proposed कि कौन से एरिया में हम क्या बनाएंगे, कितना बनाएंगे, उसका कितना एरिया लगेगा, विच विल बी गेट कंफर्म थ्रू द एरिया स्टेटमेंट, लैंड एरिया स्टेटमेंट. ये लैंड एरिया स्टेटमेंट है जैसे कि जैसे इसमें ग्रीन बेल्ट एरिया 33% इज मैंडेटरी. आई रिपीट, सब एरिया में ग्रीन बेल्ट एरिया का क्राइटेरिया है जिसमें 33 प्लस मोर देन 33% एरिया होना चाहिए. और उसके लिस्ट ऑफ स्पीशीज, उसमें भी MOEF हैज गिवन सम लिस्ट ऑफ स्पीशीज वेयर वी हैव डिफाइंड कि आउट ऑफ दिस लिस्ट लोकल नेटिव स्पीशीज हैज टू बी गिवन प्रेफरेंस फॉर प्लांटेशन, whereas other plants can also be put it as per the recommendation of the committee or the expert from the consultant. प्रोजेक्ट में जैसे आपका प्रोजेक्शन देना पड़ता है, I will be showing the last slide now for next 2 minutes. This is the last thing. Just I want to. Yeah, this is a baseline study report. What where we need to insist more and do the lot of exercise. So this is the like area, project area. What we need to define it based on our topography sheet. We need to define our period where when we are going to do the baseline study. Jैसे there are only 3 seasons: pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, and winter. The various components of baseline. We need to define our samples for air and to define this location. We can see here very clearly. Most of this locations are in the downwind direction. अधिकतर जो है वो डाउनविंड डायरेक्शन यहाँ पे दिख रहे हैं अपने को. There are 4 circles are there. एयर, वाटर, नॉइज, सॉइल, ये चारों पैरामीटर एक अलग अलग जगह पे लिए हुए हैं. We have to generate LULC map, land use, land cover. This map has to be generated by using some ArcGIS tools. Which can be get like whenever we get the study map, selected area from the satellite imagery, it gives the false color composite, which we need to convert it as per our requirement. Land use classification हमारा जो study area है, we can generate it कि अपना 10 किलोमीटर रेडियल डिस्टेंस में कितना एरिया इरिगेटेड में आता है, फाइलोलैंड कितनी है, वेस्टलैंड कितनी, अपना बिल्टअप एरिया उसमें कितना आता है, तो उसका सेम एरिया स्टेटमेंट नीचे पे देना पड़ता है अपने को. Same is the NDVI classification map of the study area. Also, we need to define it here. Like how much vegetation is available in which place. Like based on this legend, one can very easily identify कि कितने इसमें कितना है. This is a drainage map. This is the new type of one very good tool what we are using, where inversion level. If I can increase the. You can see there is some numbers are flowing in this map, in this circle. Can you see this?
Yes, sir, visible.
These are as this very visible. There are different numbers are there: 220, 210, 200. These are the drainage slope in the contour map. Trying to showcase here. This is been depicted here basically. तो कहाँ से पानी कहाँ जाएगा ड्रेनेज मैप में? Which is further confirmed through the lines. लाइनिंग और जोनिंग करके हम लोग उसमें दिस इज लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल सेस्मिक जोन मैप है फॉर दिस यूपी, जैसे पूरे इंडिया का भी अवेलेबल है. तो अपना प्रोजेक्ट जहां आ रहा होगा विच फॉल्स इन विच कैटेगरी, तो वी हैव टू मार्क एंड वी कैन डिफाइन इट, वी आवर प्रोजेक्ट इज फॉलिंग इन दिस कैटेगरी नियर बाय टू दिस प्लेस. So accordingly we can define कि this is falls in this area. While doing air quality monitoring studies, we need to do windrows pattern. हमको ये पता करना होता है कि कौन हवा का की डायरेक्शन, what is the direction of air and what is the speed of this air. So based on that we can assess and install our air quality monitoring stations in the downwind direction mostly. Major impact वहीं जाएगा तो on average. Like in this case you can see northwest to southwest is a predominant wind direction. Northwest to southwest, नॉर्थ वेस्ट से साउथ ईस्ट की तरफ, ये मेजर डाउनविंड डायरेक्शन है इसका. जो भी डस्ट पोल्यूशन होगा सब उड़ के विंड डाउनविंड डायरेक्शन में जाएगा. तो वहां पे जो भी रिसेप्टर्स है उन पर सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट होगा. ये द वेरियस पैरामीटर्स. वाटर डेप्थ, हम लोग पानी जहाँ से एक्सट्रैक्ट करने वाले हैं अपने प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, उस जगह का पानी का लेवल क्या है. सो दैट हैज टू बी शोकेस यूजिंग दिस मैप. दिस इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल विद द गवर्नमेंट, विद द सेंट्रल वाटर बोर्ड और डिविजनल वाटर बोर्ड अथॉरिटी. CGWB के पास ये रिपोर्ट रहती है. ऑन एप्लीकेशन वी कैन गेट दैट डेटा ऑल्सो. These are the parameters what we need to assess for water quality, discharge standards और groundwater का analysis का report. This is the study area map what we need to develop for socio-economy. In what area, which area, these are the various villages, small villages in 10-15 kilometers area, 10 किलोमीटर रेडियल डिस्टेंस में कौन कौन से छोटे छोटे विलेजेस आ रहे हैं, एंड व्हाट इज द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ देम, व्हाट आर द नेम टू ईच ऑफ देम, उनका व्हाट आर द पॉपुलेशन, उसमें कितने कल्टीवेटर्स है, एग्रीकल्चर लेबर कितनी है, नॉन वर्कर्स कितने, वर्कर्स कितने, हाउस होल्ड वर्कर्स कितने. That all details has to be given in this for each village which comes under our study area of 10 km radial distance. And lot of this data is available freely on the census. Till now the data available is for census 2011. Because based on this all socioeconomic data, scheduled caste, scheduled SC/ST data, this is very much useful for assessment. What would the impact on their daily life? It might be positive, it might be negative. Because बहुत बार उनको काम धंधा मिलता है, employment मिलता है, they are very happy. But sometimes due to some of the very specific kind of projects, it impact and it creates adverse impact, which due to which they get health issues, asthma होना, और या फिर some infections due to the waste facilities. टाउनशिप बनता है तो उसमें होता है कि टाउनशिप में उनकी लैंड चली जाती है, दे डोंट गेट द लैंड एंड दे डोंट गेट द जॉब. अगर कोई फार्मर है उसकी लैंड चली जाएगी तो उसका लाइवलीहुड ही चले गया. तो इन दैट केस आर पॉलिसी के हिसाब से उसको जमीन देनी पड़ेगी, रोजगार देना पड़ेगा. अलग अलग पाई डायग्राम्स है फॉर द वेरियस क्राइटेरिया कि रेलवे कितनी दूरी पर है, प्रोजेक्ट साइट कहाँ पर है, रोड कितना है, कल्टीवेटर कितने हैं. एंड while doing all this we need to collect pictorial evidences. फोटो के साथ आपको एविडेंस भी जमा करनी होती है कि आप लोग कहाँ कहाँ गए थे, which we need to submit to the authority. आपने जो भी वहाँ पे साइट असेसमेंट किया वो साइट असेसमेंट का भी एविडेंसेस आपको जमा करना है. Along with the documentary evidence, we have to submit visual evidences also. आपने आप कितने लोगों से मिले, कितने लोगों का इंटरव्यू लिया, उन सबका फॉर्म भराना होता है आपको सोशियो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे के समय, which might be required during the public consultation. Similarly, बायोलॉजी की टीम को भी आपको बायोलॉजी की टीम भी जो होती है बायोलॉजिकल एक्सपर्ट, दे आल्सो नीड टू गो. उसको बोलते हैं हम लोग ईबी एक्सपर्ट, इकोलॉजिकल एंड बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्सपर्ट. तो ईबी के एक्सपर्ट्स भी साइट पे जाते हैं, असेसमेंट करते हैं कौन कौन सा फ्लोरा स्पीशीज है, फौना की स्पीशीज कौन कौन सी है, उसमें से कोई फैमिली कोई स्पीशी एंडेंजर स्पीशी में आती है क्या, आती है तो इन विच शेड्यूल आती है, शेड्यूल 1 में आती है, 2 में आती है. व्हाट इज द कंजर्वेशन प्लान वी हैव टू प्रपोज, व्हाट वुड बी द कॉस्ट इट इज गोइंग टू इनकर. तो दैट कॉस्ट विल बी बोर्न बाय द क्लाइंट. जिसका प्रोजेक्ट होगा उसको वो कॉस्ट देनी पड़ेगी उस कंजर्वेशन प्लान को बनाने के लिए. जैसे इस केस में ये कुछ बर्ड्स आ रही है लेकिन सारी कैटेगरी 4 में है. आईयूसीएन की कैटेगरी है, क्या है आईयूसीएन की कैटेगरी? लीस्ट कंसर्न एलसी. वीयू वल्नरेबल है ये. और कौन सा एलसी के अलावा जैसे आईयूसीएन ने पी फाउल को, मोर को लीस्ट कंसर्न बोला है, लेकिन इंडियन सिनेरियो में ये शेड्यूल 1 है. आप लोग देख सकते हैं 24 नंबर पे पी फाउल टाइवो क्रिस्टेसस जो है ये शेड्यूल 1 है, लेकिन आईयूसी ने वैल्यू उसको एलसी किया है. तो उसमें जो भी लिस्ट होगा हमको उसको लेके फॉलो करना होता है. इसमें ब्लाइंड स्नेक भी दिया हुआ है IWPA 1972 के एक्ट के हिसाब से, ये लिस्ट किया हुआ है. तो ये सबको हमको ध्यान रखकर उनका एविडेंसेस कलेक्ट करके उनका बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन प्लान अपने को सबमिट करना होगा. I think I must stop this and hope you got all the details whatever I want to share with you. If there is any query you can just raise your hand. Or you can unmute and you can just ask a question.
Thank you, sir, for such an elaborate explanation, detailed insight of how to prepare an EIA report. If there is any question from the participant side, you are encouraged to either unmute yourself or you can even type it in the chat box.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving us valuable information. Sir, my question is, we are hearing there is a proposal of draft EIA 2020. Can you hear me, sir? There is a draft, proposal of draft EIA 2020, and we are hearing that it is favoring some industrial projects and destructing the ecology. So, what is that draft exactly, and how it is affecting the environment? Can you brief it, sir?
Basically, draft EIA 2020, it has majorly they have given a lot of relaxations in terms of environmental clearances, and lot of expansion projects also given relaxation for coming for the TOR or coming for the EC even. Like there is, if it is less than 50% expansion, they can get the TOR directly in after application of the applying the to the EAC in next 1 week or whatever the given time.
Yeah.
So there will not be any much assessment. Like there are so many other like installations near regulatory installations, defense installations, or some sensitive areas, restricted areas, border areas. They excluded in 2020 that draft. But
Okay.
for the public, for the in terms of public consultation, though AI would be there, but public consultation is omitted for that. But in lot of various places, in like Himalayan region or Himalayan plateaus or some Dehradun or some that Himachal Pradesh area, like Uttarakhand area, all those, even including some glacier areas are also included in that, though it is sensitive or such kind of terrain is there, but we cannot just exclude the socio-economy or public consultation because it impacts a lot.
Yeah.
तो उनकी जमीन जा सकती है, उनका रोजगार उसी पे डिपेंडेंट होगा, तो इट माइट गोइंग टू इम्पैक्ट दैट.
Yeah. Okay. And hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one more question. We are living in Indore, and outside of Indore means connected to Rao. There is a Rao bypass. So we
Okay.
used to see very small hills, छोटे छोटे hills हुआ करती थी सर
हाँ हाँ.
बाईपास के आसपास. अब हम देख रहे हैं कि वहां पर एनक्रोचमेंट हो रहा है. हो सकता है वो किसी की दे मस्ट बी ओन्ड बाय समवन. लेकिन ये मुझे ऐसा लगता है क्योंकि मैंने इसको न्यूज़पेपर में भी पढ़ा कि वो जो हिल्स हैं अगर वो खत्म हो जाएंगी तो इट विल अफेक्ट द फ्लो ऑफ वाटर. जो रेन वाटर है जो कि अलग अलग जगह तालाब वगैरह तक पहुंचता है वो अफेक्ट होगा. तो एज अ कॉमन सिविलियन अगर हम ऐसा देखते हैं डिस्ट्रक्शन तो हम किसको अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, उसके लिए आप क्या गाइड करेंगे सर?
Moment you saw such kind of activities, the two things parallelly have to be started, has to be initiated. आपको सबसे पहले you have to write a letter to the local authority number one. जो भी that area, if that area is not in city limits, you have to write to the district collector, right?
Okay.
Second, why it has to be protected against development, you have to be very specific. Both by development, for example, in case of Vishakhapatnam city, where there is a very famous, recently when there is an incident happened, आपने सुना होगा LG पॉलीमर का जो गैस लीक हुआ है, वहाँ पे विशाखा स्टील प्लांट भी है और हिंदुस्तान पेट्रोलियम कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिटेड HPCL का भी प्लांट है. तो HPCL प्लांट जो जहाँ पे लगा हुआ है, वो जब कभी एमिशन निकालता है, एयर एमिशन करता है, दैट एमिशन get keep on circulating within the city area or within the that given impact area, वो बाहर नहीं जा पाता है. Why? Because that area is like ball, saucer and cup and saucer area. वो चारों तीन तरफ से हिल से कवर्ड है और एक तरफ है सी. Whenever there is a wind direction towards the sea, then it is okay. See, most of the time wind is blowing from sea to the land. तो पूरा जो एयर पोल्यूशन है वो पूरा सिटी के अंदर ही रहता है. तो उस केस में वहाँ का हिल कट करना पड़ा गवर्नमेंट को. तो द स्टडी उसके लिए जो क्लियरेंस स्टडी करना है, इम्पैक्ट स्टडी है, वो किया है गवर्नमेंट ने. सो दैट ऑल्सो टेकन केयर कि वो डेवलपमेंट के अगेंस्ट है या प्रो है. दैट ऑल्सो वन हैज टू अंडरस्टैंड द सब्जेक्ट. एंड सेकेंडली यू हैव टू राइट अ लेटर इफ यू आर वेरी श्योर कि वो नोटिफाइड एरिया है. So you can write a letter, copy to the MOEF, Ministry of Environment and Forest, आप मिनिस्ट्री को भेज सकते हो, उनका आजकल वो लोग ऑनलाइन ईमेल्स एक्सेस करते हैं, यू कैन राइट डाउन टू देम एंड पैरेलली एनी एनजीओ कैन स्टार्ट पुटिंग लॉट ऑफ ट्रीज। आप एंडेंजर्ड जो बहुत कल्चरली स्पीशीज है, कल्चरली रिच स्पीशीज है ट्रीज की, वहाँ लगा दीजिए, तो पीपल विल नॉट गोइंग टू टच दैट लैंड ऑल्सो देन।
Okay, sir. Ji. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, there's a question that EIA is applicable for automobile manufacturing industry, which is established in 1982.
No, at present no, because 2006 notification, uh, as per NABET accreditation, it is required, but otherwise EIA 2006 notification doesn't speak about this. It is very categorically been denied for this. Recent last like 1 week back, Maruti had an expansion project in Gurgaon area, so that their proposal for EC has been declined. Instead, they asked to go for consent to establish and consent to operate to the State Pollution Control Board. उनको कंसेंट लेना है एस्टैब्लिशमेंट और ऑपरेशन के लिए.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. This question was from me. I am Devendra Mende from Ashok Leland. So we are having the consent to operate and consent to establish also. Recently, this is renewed for 5 years. So there was one notification. They were asking for our suggestions on this in EIA. We hope it is not applicable for us, because our industry is around 37-year-old.
Irrespective of the its old or what is the age, but 2006 notification doesn't speak about this sector specifically. Though NABET has called this sector as an additional sector 40, उसमें ऑटोमोबाइल और कार MEPs का नहीं उन्होंने इंक्लूड किया था, बट बाद में उसको डिक्लाइन कर दिया गया है.
Sir, 2006
So if we are going to enhance our capacity, then will it require, sir?
No, if you are even increasing your capacity, you have to go for pollution control board. In that case, if pollution control board insists to get the EIA done or environmental clearance, prior environmental clearance is required, then you can go and approach them. Based on this criteria, we need to go for EC. Otherwise, you can go for consent to establish and operate.
Are we coming under any category? Any of the category? Category A or category B?
Yes. In case, in only one case it is applicable. Like if it is, they can such kind of project can get attracted sector 39, where we call it area development. जहाँ पे area development project आता है, वहाँ पे ये define नहीं है कि उस area development में आप क्या करना चाह रहे हो, right? उस case में that based on that grounds you can apply for EC if at all it is required, but otherwise I will show you the 2006 notification original.
Sir, notification last update is in 2006. Later on, कुछ update है sir इसका?
There were a lot of different notifications came and circulars came, but specifically for this, there was no notification has been updated. But upcoming notification might consider this, because recently there were a lot of comments have been required from the MOEF. 2020 के इसमें आ सकता है ये. This is the EIA 2006 notification schedule. I think can you see the schedule, madam?
No, sir, it's not open yet. Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Background. बैकग्राउंड नॉइज बहुत है। बैकग्राउंड नॉइज बहुत आ रहा है मैडम। कोई मोबाइल या कुछ चीज चालू है वहाँ पे, probably that might be generating such kind of vibration noise. Can you see this now, मैडम? देवेंद्र जी, आप देख पा रहे हैं ये नोटिफिकेशन?
Yes, sir. It's visible. Fourth stage appraisal.
जैसे ये सेक्टर है, इसमें आपको दिखेगा, मीन्स यू कैन सी दिस नोटिफिकेशन।
Stage 4 दिख रहा है सर यहाँ पर appraisal. Yes, now it is visible. Schedule, paragraph 2 and 7. Participants, अगर आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑन है प्लीज म्यूट करिए।
हेलो, ये जो लिखा हुआ है
Yes.
8B टाउनशिप एंड एरिया डेवलपमेंट, इसमें ऑल प्रोजेक्ट्स अंडर आइटम 8B शैल बी अप्राइज्ड एज कैटेगरी B1, जहाँ पे अगर कवरिंग एरिया मोर देन 50 हेक्टर्स और इक्वल टू 50 हेक्टर्स, वो सारा इसमें आ जाता है, या 1,50,000 स्क्वायर मीटर्स का बिल्टअप एरिया होगा तो भी, तो उस केस में आपका जो प्लांट है वो इसमें फॉलो हो सकता है, अदरवाइज देयर इज नो स्कोप फॉर दिस ईसी।
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Is anybody else having any doubt?
Hello.
Sir, Mr. Sudhanshu has some query.
Hello.
Nowadays, what happens? The industry is planned outside where presently the habitation is less, but due to rapid growth of that city, industry comes within the habitat, and then pollutants are released. So, what is your opinion about that? Like right now, it might be into an inhabitable area, but later on, it becomes habitable.
While in that case, actually, because whenever the city area developments are happening, we need to do SEA, Strategic Environment Assessment. तो strategic environment impact assessment में at the plan of conceptual level या planning level पे हम लोग impact assess करते हैं, but EIA is like short term और fire fighting mode पे, जैसे आपने plant आपको जमीन में लगाना है तो you are doing EIA, but later on what is going to happen no one knows. But in strategic environment assessment में क्या करेंगे हम लोग, whenever there is a plan, like for example we are planning a new city Amravati in Andhra Pradesh, so SEA was expected to be done by the Andhra government through Telangana में, so that is what that case, when such kind of rapid growth happens of the city, even rapid growth is there, it do not get impact that particular area. Even this is very good question actually asked by Sudhanshu. This happens specifically for the airport areas. जैसे airport के पास whenever there is a airport has been proposed or constructed, there is no such human habitation is there nearby 2-3 kilometers. But end of the after few ages, it happens that people start constructing their houses, their roads, buildings just adjacent to the airport boundary. So it becomes very hurdle for the flying while takeoff or landing. So those things have to be taken care. And secondly, Sudhanshu ji, one more things can be also taken care by whenever you go for permission to the local NIT, the implementation.
Please put your connections on mute, please, participant.
जब आप लोग पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड के पास जाते हैं, हाँ जैसे
Participants, please mute करिए. Yes, sir, I think is the disturbance clear now?
Yeah. So in that case, whenever they go for local planning authority for sanction of their building, in that case local authority का काम होता है कि उसको ध्यान रखकर नोटिफाई करे कि नहीं भाई यहाँ पे इतनी बिल्डिंग बना सकते हैं या नहीं बना सकते, वो परव्यू उनका होता है. एक और अंकन विश्वास is asking how we get certificate of this.
Hello.
The participants are requested to attend the session tomorrow. During the session, you will get a link to the feedback form, जो mandatory and compulsory है to get the certificates. आप उसमें अपना नाम जो भी रहेगा carefully fill करिएगा, जो भी आपको printed certificate में चाहिए होगा. So those who are interested in getting certificates, please attend the session tomorrow.
Hello.
Hello.
So Nasreen has some question. Near to my university, there is a solid waste plant due to which students are suffering with many diseases. They have not followed the guidelines, in fact, and there is no green belt. We have tried to report Green Court, it is closed till next hearing, but the waste is there only, and many snakes and insects are there. So, can you please give some suggestions?
Actually, there is a lot of background noise in here. Please can you repeat again, madam?
Yes, sir. There is a question from Nasreen. He is asking that there is a solid waste plant near to his university, and there, because of improper management, there is a lot of diseases. They've tried to report it to a court, but it is closed. And as of now, there is a lot of snakes and other animals because of it, insects. So, can you please give some suggestion?
There is already a waste management site is there, or they are
Yes, sir.
dumping.
It is solid waste site which is not managed properly, and because of it, there are some snakes and insects. And presently, there is no solution to it. They've tried to inform it to the court.
Inform to the
Court. That is what he has mentioned. Green Court.
National Green Tribunal.
Mr. Nasreen, Mr. or Miss Nasreen, can you please clarify in which court have you applied it?
So good afternoon. I'm so sorry. There is a lot of disturbance. Just because of that, I'm not able to raise my question. Sir, there is my university in Bareilly city, and near to my university, there is a solid waste plant. And there a lot many dump are there, of all city dump waste are there. Due to that, there is a lot many insects. University condition is also not good because the wall pe bahut sara kachra and all, bahut sara I can see the insects and ants, lot many ants. Every often a snakes comes in the class, kabhi bench ke niche milta hai, kabhi kitchen mein mil jata hai, and that is not at all safe. While taking lecture in the class, I was taking lecture in the class and there was a snake under the bench, and a student got scared about that. Yes, there was a report firstly to the mayor of the Bareilly, and then there was lot many, the channel we have followed, and the case went to the court and there was a hearing. उन्होंने अभी कुछ टाइम के लिए स्टॉप किया है. It is closed. Still waste are there only. अभी भी वो खतरा बना हुआ है. We are not getting the proper solution, and students life at not very safe over there. So could you please suggest some measures so that we can do some action at our end? We can do something. Like we tried a lot.
Nasreen.
Yes, sir.
Actually, the same situation. Recently, I've been encountered here in my place, Jawaharlal Nehru College of Commerce and Science Art something is there in Nagpur. So they have the same thing. Just a similar waste dump has been generated adjacent to their boundary wall. So in that case, the case was referred to the local authority, and as a clearance committee member of the district authority, we have suggested from our side is कि पहले तो आप लोग ये आइडेंटिफाई कर लीजिए जो लैंड जहाँ पे डंपिंग ग्राउंड बना के रखा है वो जमीन उस जगह के लिए नोटिफाइड है कि नहीं है, नंबर
नहीं
1।
सर, नहीं थी सर. There is a fight between two party and now this case became a political case. दो पार्टी आपस में फाइट कर रही है, but they are not in point of a student, they are not thinking about that. Student are suffering, nobody is bothered about it.
नो इशू। सेकेंडली, वो अगर वेस्ट वहाँ डम, बेसिकली अपना इंडिया का पॉलिसी क्या, वो एक बार अच्छे से याद रख लीजिएगा। अवर इंडियन पॉलिसी फॉर द एनवायरनमेंट इज पोल्यूटर पे, आई रिपीट, पोल्यूटर पे इज द पॉलिसी ऑफ कंट्री। जो पोल्यूशन फैलाएगा उसकी जिम्मेदारी है उसको ठीक करने की, उसका कॉस्ट भी उसी को बेयर करना है। जिसने कचरा डाला पहले उसको साफ करना है। अगर वहाँ पे वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की साइट है, that is a separate issue. If it is not a waste management site, if it is just a dumping ground, dumping ground can be removed or relocated somewhere else by signing a letter with some good number of population। आपको एक मेजॉरिटी का लोकल मेजॉरिटी पॉपुलेशन लोगों का सिग्नेचर लेके डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर को आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर को लिख सकते हैं विद द कॉपी, विद कॉपी टू थ्री प्लेसेस: स्टेट पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड, म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन अगर होता है, और
है
तीसरा
सर,
है,
यस.
हाँ तीसरा है वहाँ का जो भी लोकल कॉर्पोरेट होगा वगैरह वो, ठीक है। तो आप ये उन तीनों को लिख सकते हैं मिनिमम। एंड मेनली डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर इज द अथॉरिटी टू मैनेज एंड टेक डिसीजन इन सच काइंड ऑफ मैटर। ही इज द, वो बॉस है, वो ही कैन टेक डिसीजन टू रीलोकेट विदाउट एनी सेकेंड ओपिनियन।
Sir, we did the same, and yes, the decision was in our favor that land should be relocated. Still, nobody is listening. Like case हुआ, open हुआ, बंद हुआ, land relocated के बारे में भी newspaper में भी highlight था, but still अभी कुछ भी solution नहीं है. Green belt के नाम पे there was a very tiny plants आसपास थोड़े से लगा दिए गए हैं just to show कि हमने green belt किया है यहाँ पर, but still condition is worst. सो अभी बरसात का रेनी सीजन आ रहा है एंड बहुत से रेनी सीजन में सारे स्नेक्स बाहर आ जाते हैं और ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है सर. तो उसके लिए क्या हम अपने एंड पे लाइक वी एज अ
अपने,
ह्यूमन कैन
हाँ
डू सम प्रिकॉशन? या
we can generate some human intervention।
दैट्स व्हाट.
ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन में कुछ हम लोग मिटिगेशन कंट्रोल मेजर्स ऑन साइट जनरेट कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि कुछ एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप ऑफ ग्रीन बेल्ट होता है, डायमंड ग्रीन बेल्ट डिजाइन, वो आप लोग वहाँ अप्लाई कर सकते हो। उसमें यूजुअली स्नेक्स एंड सच काइंड ऑफ पेस्ट एंड रेप्टाइल्स आर गेट ट्रैप्ड एंड दे लिव देयर इटसेल्फ, वो उससे बाहर नहीं जाता है।
ओके,
यू हैव टू जनरेट, इन अदर वर्ड्स यू हैव टू क्रिएट अ गुड हैबिटेट फॉर इट, ताकि वो उस जगह पर मिल जाए जहाँ पे उसको जाने में मजा नहीं आता है। उनको कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं आपके स्कूल में आने का। इफ यू कैन क्रिएट हैबिट फॉर
diamond, right?
डायमंड
yes,
ग्रीन बेल्ट, या
I hope Nasreen
thank
ma'am's
you,
question
thank
is
you,
answered and you got a solution
thank
to
you
it.
so much, thank you so much ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
So I
Hello.
think we can. Yes, may I know who's on the call?
I just wanted to add one more thing, like that's my own suggestion. Why don't you keep trying to tweet, tagging PMO, CMO, and MOEF, CPCB. If you try tweeting, like by tagging that, some actions may be taken up.
And that is for Nasreen ma'am. Ma'am, you have a suggestion that you can
Yes
tag.
ma'am. I
Like,
take up the point, I take up the point ma'am.
it would
Yes
help
sir.
you, I guess. In a lot of, cases when people tweet, they get immediate response.
Okay
That's
sir,
a solution of a quick solution.
thank you for adding the information, I'll keep it point, thank you.
So I hopefully now can end the session. Nobody has any other query.
मैडम आपके बहुत डिस्टर्बेंस है, आपके जैसे आपके एंड से डिस्टर्बेंस है। नाउ इट्स ओके।
It's okay now, sir?
या
I thank Dr. Mudliar for taking out time and being there with us and giving such an elaborate and nice, clear explanation about the process of environmental impact assessment followed in India, as well as giving a solution to the problems related to it. It was a pleasure having with you for us today. And on behalf of IPS Academy, I extend a heartfelt gratitude for taking out time for us today, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Even if you have any questions, you can mail me.
Yes, and if anybody is having any query, you can get in touch with us. And the participants are requested to attend a session for tomorrow for certification. There will be a link which will be provided in the chat box tomorrow during the session. You have to fill that link, that is a feedback form. And feedback form will require the details which you want it to be printed on the certificate. So please attend the session for tomorrow and please fill the feedback form carefully so that the certificate doesn't have any error. And thank you, and join me again tomorrow at 11:45 a.m. for the next session of this faculty development program organized by the Civil Engineering Department, IPS Academy, IES Indore, which is on Eco Enviro Sustainability. Thank you once again, Dr. Mudliar.